Namaste, I am Meera Sinojia and together we are going to study Managerial Economics. But before we get started, let us try to understand why managers need to know economics. Being the students of management, you might think that what is the need to study economics? Well, there are three reasons behind that. The first reason is resources are limited. Now, being the manager, the first task or the basic function what we have to do is optimum utilization of resources. Now, if the resources are unlimited, like sunshine or air, there is no question of resource management. But majority of the resources are limited in nature. For example, say land, money, raw materials, human resources, and so on. So, the resources are limited, and that is the first condition why we study economics. Let's move to the second condition. Wants are unlimited. Human beings are the bundle of desire. As one desire get accomplished, another desire is always waiting. Let's take an example. If one person seeks to buy a bicycle, and after waiting for a long period of time, finally he gets his bicycle, his first desire is getting accomplished. But as soon as first desire is getting accomplished, the second desire is always waiting, maybe to buy a scooter. After buying scooter, the third desire, maybe buying a car. After buying a car, maybe another car, maybe a luxurious car, maybe a super luxurious car, and the list goes on and on. So, the second condition, that is, wants are unlimited. If wants are limited, I tell you, there is no need to study economics. But this is never so. Let's move to the third condition. Resources have alternative uses. Now, each and every resource is having multiple use. Let's take a very common example, say money. Now, money is having so many uses. If you spend some amount of money, say 500, on watching a movie, you won't be able to buy books. So, as every resource is having alternative uses, they need to be used very carefully. And that is the third condition, that why we people, being the managers, needed to know economics. So, the three conditions. First condition, resources are limited, wants are unlimited, and resources have alternative uses. So these three conditions are very important to be understood before we start with the subject. Alright, let's move to the topic, Managerial Economics. Now consider it as two different terms, managerial and economics, or say management and economics, and consider it like they are just two different books. One book you are having in one hand, that's of economics, another book is of management. Now you have studied both the subjects. Economics, what does economics give? Economics give us lots of theories, concepts, principles. For example, law of demand, law of supply, theory of profit, theory of distribution, and so on. So it's one book, Economics, which is full of theories, concepts, or we can say answers. There is no question mentioned. Simply, it keeps on telling you so many things. And another book, The Management. Now, everyone knows what is management. Management is decision making. And whenever you take any decision, you would always be having a problem. What to choose, how to choose, why to choose. It is as simple as we are spending almost half an hour in the morning to decide what clothes to wear today. Nothing but the decision making problem. And it does not have any specific solution given. You have to think a lot. It is purely situation based. So management is something which is always depending on the situation. So here there are two books in our hands. In one hand we have economics, in other hand we have management. Now one book which is full of answers, another book which is full of doubts, does not have any solution. So what to do? Alone these subjects are of no use. Simply learning management or simply learning economics are incomplete. And that's why what we do here is we are combining these two books into a single book. And that is what we are doing is we are combining economics and management. And then imagine what will happen. We'll have one question, solution. Management will always have a question. Economics is always ready with the solution. And this is how we try to increase the utility of both of these disciplines. And this AME is what I'm telling about managerial economics. So AME is like combining both the books, and it's one book which studies one problem and the another one that suggests the solution to that problem. And that's what we have seen, right? Economics is always having various concepts and theories, and management would always be having decision making problems. And when we combine those two, you can refer the diagram that economics and management combined together, and what do we get is the biggest circle, managerial economics, with the increased utility of both the disciplines. Now, let us see what is managerial economics. Managerial economics is the application of economic theory and methodology to business administration practice. So, in this way, one thing is very important to be kept in mind, that managerial economics does not have its own concepts or principles or theories. What it is simply doing is it is using all the economic theories and applying it to the business. So, in this way, it uses tools and techniques of economic analysis to analyze and solve business problems. Now, let's go on definitions of managerial economics. The first definition is managerial economics is the integration of economic theory with business practice for the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. One more definition is the purpose of managerial economics is to show how economic analysis can be used in formulating business policies. Managerial economics consists of the use of economic modes of thought to analyze business situations. Blah, blah, blah. Easy to read, but I know very difficult to remember for exams, right? Here, I am giving you a technique to remember these definitions, not just for this subject, but for any subject. Now, see the magic. I'm trying with the first definition, alright? Managerial economics is the integration of economic theory with business practice for the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. That was the first definition, what we read in the previous slide. Now, what I'm doing is I'm breaking the definition into small parts, and they are all the logical parts. Now, see, what is managerial economics? Managerial economics is the integration. Integration of what? Integration of two things. What are those two things? Economic theory with business practice. Why are we doing this? For the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. Let's try it one more time. Alright. What is managerial economics? Managerial economics is the integration. Integration of what? Integration of economic theory with business practice. Why do we do this? For the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. One more time. Try it with me. Alright. Without looking on the screen. What is managerial economics? Managerial economics is the integration. Integration of what? Integration of two things. What are those two things? Economic theory and business practice. Why are we doing this combination? For the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. So, now you get the complete definition along with the meaning which you truly digest. Okay, let's try last time. Alright, managerial economics is the integration of economic theory with business practice for the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. So, did you see how easy it was, isn't it? So, today what we discuss? The first thing, that why, being the students of management, we need to study economics. We discussed three reasons. What were the reasons? Resources are limited, wants are unlimited, and resources have alternative uses. And then what we discussed, that managerial economics is combining two books, the books of economics and management. Why do we do this integration? Because economics and management are having their own limitations, and if we combine them both, we definitely can increase the utility of both of these disciplines. And then we discuss the definition of managerial economics, and we tried to remember it in the best possible way, and that will also help you to remember the definition till your exams. You can also try out with any of the subjects. There's a simple technique: break the definitions into small parts and try to digest it, try to understand it, and then try to remember. Alright, so that's all from my side today. Thank you. Have a nice day and be prepared for the next session. We are going to discuss some more definitions of managerial economics in my upcoming session. Thank you. Namaste, welcome to my class. Today we are going to discuss definitions of managerial economics given by various economists. The first definition that has been given by Professor Mansfield. Managerial economics is concerned with application of economic concepts and economic analysis to the problem of formulating rational managerial decision. So here what he says that AMI is something which is concerned with application of various economic concepts like say law of demand, theory of profit, theory of distribution, any such concept that is being applied to the business. And why are we applying? We want the better decision. The second definition that has been given by Spencer and Seigelman. Managerial economics is the integration of economic theory with business practice for the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. Again, the same thing, but the wordings are different. So, it is nothing but the integration, combination of two different disciplines, economics and management. And why are we doing this? Obviously, to get the best decision. The third definition, which has been given by Professor Jaldine, the purpose of managerial economics is to show how economic analysis can be used in formulating business policies. So here what he has given, the purpose of managerial economics, that why we study managerial economics, because we learn that how we can utilize all those economic concepts in running our business in a better way. And the last one that has been given by Professor McNair Merriam. Managerial economics consists of the use of economic modes of thought to analyze business situations. So, how we can handle the business situations by using the economic mode of thought. That's what he has given. Alright. I know. Easy to read, but again, difficult to remember, right? So, what we are doing? Again, doing the same technique. Those who missed my previous session, for them, I'm explaining it one more time. And those who could attend my previous session, for them, there will be a revision. Let's see. What I'm doing is, I'm going to break the definition into the small logical blocks. I'm trying it with the second definition that was given by Professor Spencer and Seigelman. Okay, let's see. Managerial economics is the integration of economic theory with business practice for the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. Now let's see the magic. What is managerial economics? Managerial economics is the integration. Integration of what? Integration of two things. Economic theory with business practice. Now why are we integrating this? For the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. Clear? Let's try it one more time. Alright. Managerial economics is what? It is the integration. Integration of what? Integration of two things. What are those two things? Economic theory with business practice. And why are we doing this? For the purpose of facilitating decision making and forward planning by management. Clear? All right. Let's try another one. The definition that has been given by Professor Mansfield. AMI is concerned with application of economic concepts and economic analysis to the problem of formulating rational managerial decision. Again, let's try it out. All right. So what is AMI? AMI is concerned with the application. Application of what? Application of economic concepts and economic analysis. Where do we apply this? We are applying this to the problem of formulating rational managerial decision. Trying it one more time, all right? AMI is concerned with what? Concerned with application. Application of what? Economic concepts and analysis. And where do we apply? To the problem of formulating rational managerial decision. So now, without looking to the screen, can you try it out? Alright, let's try. What's AMI? AMI is concerned with the application. Application of what? Application of economic concepts and economic analysis. Where do we apply it? To the problem of formulating rational managerial decision. Isn't it easy? Want to try it one more time? Tried? Alright, I'm sure you are definitely going to get the result. You will definitely remember it. You can try it with all the definitions that I have given. Alright. So from all the above definitions, that's what we have discussed, we can understand that managerial economics is the integration of what? Two things, economics and management. Now what does economics give? Economics give us various economic theories and concepts. And what is management? It's all about decision making problems. Now if we combine these two disciplines, what do we get is managerial economics. And what are we doing here is, it is the application of economics to solve the business problems. And why are we doing this process? Because it will give us optimum solution to business problems. Clear everyone? Alright. Now let's move to the next topic, nature of managerial economics, or we can also say characteristics or even features of managerial economics. Let's see. Here you can see the list of characteristics or features or nature of managerial economics. The first one is, it is microeconomic. Second, it uses economic concepts and principles. Third, it is pragmatic or practical in nature. Fourth, it is normative rather than positive, or in other words, we can say it is prescriptive rather than descriptive. Fifth is macroeconomic is also useful. Sixth, it is a link between economics and management. And the last one, it helps in making rational business decisions. Now let us try to understand it one by one. Alright, let's start with the first one. The first one is microeconomic. Managerial economics is basically micro in nature. That means it does not deal with the entire economy as a unit of study. Rather, it only studies the problems of a particular business firm or a customer or the producer or the individual firm or industry. But it does not deal with the entire economy. The second one, it uses economic concepts and principles. Now, managerial economics is a branch and the discipline of the general or the traditional economic theory. It does not have its own concepts or principles. What it simply does is it takes the concepts from the economics and applies to the business. So managerial economics does not have its own concepts. It simply takes all the concepts from the economics, and it is the branch. In this way, it is a branch of general economics. The third one, it is pragmatic or practical in nature. Let's see why. Managerial economics is pragmatic in nature as it avoids the difficult issues of economics and is concerned with only those analytical tools which are truly useful in improving decision making into the business. And this is how it tries to avoid all the unnecessary theories which are not useful in the real life of the business. And that's how it becomes more practical and very much useful as compared to the traditional economics. Let's move to the next one. Fourth, normative rather than positive. Or in other words, we can say managerial economics is prescriptive rather than descriptive. Now let us see, what do we mean by this? Managerial economics is normative rather than positive in character. Or we can say it is prescriptive rather than descriptive. Now let us take an example. Say if you go to a doctor and a doctor is asking you to do some reports into the laboratory. Now what a laboratory is going to do? Suppose you are going to check your hemoglobin. What a lab is going to do? Naturally, a lab is going to collect the sample of your blood. It's going to make the test, going to generate the report, and it is simply going to give you the report that this is what is. Now what we are going to do after getting the report? Again we are going to go to the doctor. We are going to show the report, and based on that, doctor is going to give us the advice. Alright. So if we find that a doctor and a laboratory are playing the same role, no, we are wrong. They both are different. Why? Because a doctor is going to advise, but a lab is not going to give you the advice. It is simply going to tell you the things that this is what you are. Alright. So a doctor's role is normative rather than positive, but a laboratory is positive rather than normative. Or in other words, to make it more easy, right, it is prescriptive. What a doctor is going to do? A doctor is going to prescribe some medicines. So if there is some hemoglobin deficiency, what a doctor is going to do? Doctor is going to prescribe some of the medicines so that the hemoglobin level will go up and we can be normal. And on the other hand, what a lab is going to do? It's simply going to collect the sample of your blood. It's going to generate the report. And whatever is the report, they are going to tell you whether it's good or bad. They are not concerned with giving you the solution. Alright. So what is managerial economics? Managerial economics is normative science. It is always concerned with giving you the suggestions. It is always going to prescribe rather than simply describe. So in this way, managerial economics is like a doctor, not like a lab. The lab is simply going to describe the report, but it is never going to prescribe any medicines. For that, we definitely need to go to the doctor. So managerial economics is normative rather than positive. Or in other words, we can say it is prescriptive rather than descriptive. Clear? Alright, let us take one example for it. The law of demand. Now everyone knows what is law of demand, right? What law of demand says? The law of demand states that if the price will increase, the demand will go down, and vice versa. But it does not tell whether the outcome is good or bad, isn't it? Right, so that's what ME is going to do. That ME will tell you that in which particular business condition what you should do, whether you should increase the price or you should reduce the price, and what is going to be the outcome of this particular decision. And that's how ME is normative. Clear? Alright. So, ME is concerned with what the decision should be made, and hence it involves value judgments. Alright, let's move to the next one. Fifth point. Macroeconomic is also useful. Macroeconomic is also useful to ME since it provides an intelligent understanding of the environment in which the business must operate. Now let us take the current condition itself. After lockdown, after facing this pandemic of coronavirus, COVID-19, each and every business is struggling for its survival. So, what managerial economics is going to do? It is not simply going to suggest कि price increase कीजिए या the demand boost करने के लिए ये कीजिए वो कीजिए. No, it's not going to do it blindly. It is always going to study the situation. Why? Because it is the managerial economics wherein we are going to study both. We are also going to look to the situation and then we are going to suggest the decision. Alright, so macroeconomics is also very useful, and that's how, after considering the entire environment, after analyzing the business environment, ME is going to tell you that you should take this particular decision into this particular situation. And this understanding enables the manager to adjust with all the external factors over which we do not have any control, but which play a crucial role in decision making. Why? Because the external environment is something which is always out of our control. And what we'll have to do? We will just have to adjust with that. And for that adjustment, it's very important that you should know that what is the environment, and that we get from the macroeconomics. So this is how managerial economics also takes help of macroeconomics. Now let's move to the next one, link between economics and management. So as the name itself suggests, managerial economics is the link between economics and management. Economics provides various concepts, theories, and principles, while management is concerned with decision-making problems. Thus, ME applies the theories of economics to business management with the purpose of providing optimum solutions to the business problems. Now, let's move to the last one. Managerial economics helps in making rational decisions. So, ME helps business managers to make rational business decisions. Now, see, being managers, we face lots of problems like resources are limited, resources have alternative uses, and consequently, the decision making always becomes a problem. A study of managerial economics will always help the manager in analyzing various alternatives and selecting the best one which will give them the optimal result. And this is how managerial economics is goal oriented and aims at providing the optimum solution to the business problem. And this is how the managers are going to achieve the ultimate objective of the business, that is optimum utilization of available resources. All right, so here we are done with all the characteristics, features or nature of managerial economics. All right, so how much we have discussed? We have discussed 7 points. First, managerial economics is micro in nature. Why? Because it studies only a single unit, say it be a business or a customer or a producer or an industry. All right. Second, it uses economic concepts and principles. What does it mean? That it does not have its own concepts. It is simply a branch of economics. Managerial economics is simply a branch of economics which is making use of all the economic concepts and theories. The third one is it is very much practical or pragmatic. What does it mean? That it is always going to use the principles, concepts or tools that are truly useful into the business, and it is always going to avoid the unnecessary stuff which is not useful in the real life of the business. And this is how it is very pragmatic and hence it is very useful. Fourth one is it is normative or prescriptive. I'm sure you must be very much clear with these terms now, isn't it? Right? What is normative? Normative is something which is prescriptive. What a doctor is going to do, a doctor is always going to prescribe. Or what a lab is going to do, lab is always going to describe. So what is AMI? AMI is not a lab. AMI is a doctor where it is going to prescribe. So AMI is normative, which is always going to guide the manager that in this particular situation you should take this particular kind of decision. So it is normative rather than positive, or in other words it is prescriptive rather than descriptive. Which was the fifth one? That macroeconomic is also very useful. Why? Because whenever we do business, we are into the environment, and environment is our surrounding. So whenever managerial economics is going to suggest any particular solution to the problem, it is always going to study the macroeconomic. It is always going to analyze the entire business environment, all the internal factors, external factors, micro factors, macro factors, and after analyzing the entire environment, it is going to suggest, or it is going to give you the perfect solution that is suitable to the current situation. The sixth one is it is the link between economics and management. As you all know it very well, managerial economics, the name itself suggests that it is the combination, or it's a kind of bridge between the theories and the problems which are being given by economics and management. So this is how it is a chain which is going to combine these two disciplines. And the last one is managerial economics is definitely going to help in making the rational business decisions which are truly going to be very helpful to the managers. Why? Because it is very much pragmatic, it is normative, it is always studies the macroeconomics, and then it is suggesting the best possible alternative for the particular problem. All right, clear? Well, so these are the characteristics or features of AMI. Alright, so what we discussed till now? We have discussed various definitions. We have seen that how to remember the definitions, break it into the logical parts, and what you have to do is you have to try to understand that, digest it, and then try to remember it. That's what we had done, right? I'm giving you one more time to remember. All right, what we had done with the Mansfield-Wala definition. And what is ME? ME is concerned with what? Concerned with application. Application of what? Application of economic concepts and economic analysis. And where are we going to apply this? To the problem of formulating rational managerial decision. So till now, how much we have discussed? We have discussed the introduction of managerial economics. We have discussed the definitions that have been given by various economists, and we also discussed that how to remember them, how to digest them, how to understand them, and how can you remember it for a long time and you can write it in your exams. And not just for this subject, it's going to be useful. This technique is going to be useful to you for every subject. Wherever you need to write down, you need to remember the definition. You always try out this technique, and this is going to be very much useful, very much effective, and definitely it is also going to give you great marks. So we discussed the definitions, and then we discussed the diagram, that what is managerial economics. It's combination of two things, economics and management. And why are we doing this entire process? Because we want to have the optimum solution to business problem. And then what we discussed? We discussed the nature, characteristics or features of managerial economics. All right, clear? All right, so that's all about my today's session. And in our next session, what we would be discussing would be the difference between the traditional economics and managerial economics. By the time you people do one thing, keep a separate notebook for the subject, note down the important points, try to remember the definitions, the way what we did, and try to revise. All right, till then, thank you. Bye bye. Stay home and be safe. Thank you.